As I said, you're probably thinking, why has T dragged me here on this fine, wet, cold, miserable Saturday? I literally had a random idea and I thought, do you know what? I want to ask my TV friends questions about relationships when you're career orientated. I was having a conversation with an executive producer the other day, and we're just kind of talking about sort of like next steps in my career. I said, you know what? I would really like to try a stint at directing because that's something that I've really been interested in doing as part of like my career development. And she's like, great, that would be a good career move. However, do you have kids? And she was just like, well, if you're going to go down that route, I would suggest you kind of putting plans for children on hold for a bit so that you can really have time to really go for it and build yourself up and just really dedicate that season of your career to just focusing on that, because it will be quite demanding of your time the deeper you get into the world of directing. So I thought, like I've obviously had conversations with like my friends in the past who work in the TV industry and work in media about, you know, family life, kind of different sacrifices that we've had to make throughout like relationships. But this was kind of the first time that I really like thought, oh my gosh, I've literally become one of those people where my career is now dictating my decisions on when do I settle down, when do I have children, when do I start a family. And I thought, obviously, if I'm thinking this, and of course my other TV industry media friends must be going through the same things or must have at least thought about it before. So I thought, let's just gather them and let's have a conversation about it.
Love all the way.
I think I've kind of made that choice a few times, and it's been career.
With a career, you get the money, you get me? No, I'm only joking.
For me, it can't be either or, it has to be a balance of both.
And I think as you get older as well, things just get put more into perspective. You realise what's more important. And to me, I'd rather not be the high-flying producer and be a mother and wife. And, you know, I really love that idea more than just working, because work can be temporary, it changes all the time. So
I've never known of a man have to give up a career for a relationship. But I've often been in a situation where in order to pursue a relationship, I'd have to give up my career or give up many, you know, work opportunities that would take me to the next level in my career.
When I think about back to the beginning of my career, when I was like really eager and like just getting in, I would do anything to progress in my career. And I remember I was in a relationship at that time when I first got into TV. And I remember having a lot of issues because he was like, oh, like, you know, give all your time to work, and we don't talk, I don't see you. And so in my mind, even though I thought, oh, it's great, I'm a career working lady and I'm in a relationship, but actually I was having to give in to one. Like I didn't really realize, because I thought it's fine, like I'm able to do both. But to my partner at the time, he was like, no, you're actually like not able to give everything to the relationship. So even though I thought you could have both, and I think we shouldn't have to choose, but unfortunately, I think depending at the stage that you're at, you know, you may have to give more into one than the other. So like even right now, like the reason I choose love is because you guys know I'm married and I have a baby on the way. So I'm like, it's like no even hesitation to it.
It's not as black and white for me. I love love. I love the idea of being a wife. I love the idea of having a massive family. Like, y'all know I want 8 kids. So like I want a big family, but at the same time, I'm very ambitious. I do want to see how far I can push myself.
The job that you want or the career that you want, I think only you can make that happen. Like there's situations where like it could pass you by if you don't act quickly, or you could miss an opportunity. So I feel like your career, because you could always find someone like this. I can't even men are on the planet. You find someone who flipping Asda.
Obviously, people have encouraged me to use dating apps to like put myself out there a bit more. But I'm just like, no, like my fear of using dating apps is if you get talking to someone, you're going to exchange contact details. You may exchange your social media handles or whatnot. And I just have this really horrid fear that someone is going to put, this is TC on social media and think, oh, so she's on the beam. And then they screenshot our chat and like they put them on blast, and then the Daily Mail picks it up, and I'm just like,
what kind of conversations are you planning on having, T?
even though I'm not a saucy talker, like when I talk, I'm very like pure. I'm a very private person. I don't want people to like kind of like be like, oh yeah, that girl from the BBC or that girl. Do you know what I mean? I just want to be TC. I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but like, have you guys ever felt like you've had to hide that part of what you do when it comes to introducing yourself to someone?
Yeah, sometimes I've lied and just say I work in admin. Yeah, or yeah, if I do work at the BBC, like I'll play it down, like, oh, I just answer phones or something, like reception stuff.
Unless I really have to, I tend to not tell people who I work for as a general rule.
Yeah.
If we're in a party and people start, asking what people do, I kind of, dilly-dally, don't even say anything, because I hate how people treat me when they find out who I work for.
It was always something that I knew was going to trigger like major conversation. Like, who is not blown away when you say you work in TV? Like, we know the realities of TV and no, it really is not all glamour. But people still to this day, they get so excited. They're so intrigued by it.
Because I do styling, it's almost like, oh, so you do shopping all day, and they kind of approach what I do as kind of being a really ditzy job that doesn't require any sort of skill. They're like, oh, so you must be so much fun. You just do shopping all day. What's that like? Oh, and I'm just like, actually, my job is a lot of Excel spreadsheets. It's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of building relationships. It's a lot of brand relationships. It's about collaborations and partnerships. And maybe 20% of my job is the actual styling. 80% of my job is the prep. So sometimes I just kind of just say, yeah, I'm a stylist, but I won't go into it because I just don't want to have the conversation of trying to make my job appear worthy to other people, if that makes sense.
How did your current partner react?
Well, that's really interesting because he was very surprised that I worked at the BBC. I'm going to out him now.
What do you mean surprised?
Because, listen, he said that I seem like an airhead.
Would a male researcher or a male producer, would he think, oh man, I'm on these dating apps and chatting to these chicks, but I don't want to tell them too much. What if they screenshot and do that? And I think that's quite a female thing, because it's usually done to us. I always think, I hope they don't think I'm on massive P, because I'm not. Like, these people thinking I'm minted and that.
I'm probably the eldest person in this group, so I'm kind of almost not aged out of the option, but I've got, my body clock is definitely ticking a lot more, and I'm not currently in a relationship.
I think coming into this career with kids, I think made me realise that actually it's a good thing to have got that out of the way.
I think the answer I would like to give is just have children when you're ready. Obviously, that's not necessarily the scenario with our body clocks and stuff, but I've always been extremely adamant that women should have a period of time on their own. If it's for a year, if it's for 2 years, and I've explained this to my fiance, and I've just said to him, I do not want to go from being at home straight into a marriage and living with you. I've lived on my own before, but now that I have a career, I'm not a student anymore. I can afford nice things now. I need that time to just explore, not being Shara, the fiance, not being Shara, the girlfriend, not being Shara, the daughter. I just need to be Shara, the person.
In terms of like progressing further, do you feel like having more children will get in the way of that now? Because your boys are kind of like growing up now, becoming less dependent on you.
Do you know what? Nothing is going to get in my way, okay? Right, so I was about to say we want more babies. I don't know if I can answer that question.
The production that Shara and myself works on, one thing that I noticed when I first started working on the show and we got the schedules, is the executive producer's a woman and our commissioner from the BBC is a woman. And when they put the schedules together, our breaks are over the summer holidays. specifically. So the schedule fits around childcare. And I felt like that's such a small thing to do. It doesn't affect me. I don't have kids, but it's actually quite nice because then I get the holidays the same times that a lot of my friends are on holiday. So during that break, we get to do all these things. And it's just that little thing in the scheduling of how the show's put together, because a woman's thinking on behalf of, well, I've got kids. Almost every single, you know, a good proportion of the entire crew involved in the show have kids, male or female.
I'm going to be 32 in next month actually. Oh my God, I'm going to be 32 next month.
And you still look 23, love.
This is good lighting. This is good Bobby Brown. I have a very good friend. She's a chartered accountant. Guys, she's smashing it. She has smashed it consistently. And we have chats about, gosh, do we freeze a few eggs?
You do get that pressure from society and even family as well. And I'm like, but you're not raising this child. Like, I remember when my dad said to me, like, oh, I want a grandchild. I'm like, do you want me to pick one from Argos? Because, like, where am I supposed to get this from?
So what I've achieved to this day, I feel like maybe I genuinely would have not been able to achieve that if I was in a relationship with someone, because I just would have not been able to handle it. I would have not been able to push myself. Whereas actually, if you find someone that you're really into and you want to settle down with, like right now, the kind of drive that you have, T, if you really wanted to be with that person, I know that if anything, you'd probably be even smashing it even more, because you've been bringing hubby and baby into the videos as well. Like, T will be like, all right, we're all recording today.
We're used to this being a man's world and men being the head of things and being in charge. And so sometimes when the woman assumes that position, it can just create a conflict.
A lot of men just don't like it when women earn more than them. I don't know why. Maybe it's something to do with their ego. Maybe they feel like the power dynamics shift and it means that the woman's more in control. I guess it kind of makes men feel as if they're not needed as much.
We have to remember, we're now in 2021, where women are expected to work and bring in an income, because just if you think about the economy, unless you're dating some rich man from Dubai or a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, the way society's set up, he can't afford to keep you on one salary alone. So it means that we have to go out and there has to be two incomes coming into the household. So it means that women have become a lot more independent. We do have a lot more responsibility in the household. And in that, we have leveled up, we have skilled up, we've become a lot savvy, you know, and independent in certain aspects. My concern is, why is it that in order for men to be the head or the lead in a relationship, why does it always have to come down to finances?
We live in a society where, because of patriarchy, I feel like women can be whatever they want to be. We can be emotional, we can thrive, we can climb the career ladder, we can do all sorts. Whereas sometimes it feels like men have been caged by the same system because it's put expectations on them.
Let's be real, a man does feel less than if his partner is earning more. And that's because he feels he's expected to earn more, to take care of the family, lead the family. And then the woman as well, what's her take on it? Has she then, because she believes she's earning more money, has she then also thought, you know what, I'm earning more, so I need to be more manly. I need to be the one that's in control. So I think it's different how you act. If you're a boss lady at your workplace and you're running all the men in the company, that 1,000 male colleagues, amazing, you're smashing it. But it doesn't mean that you have to bring that same, like, maybe leadership controlling mentality into the household. Like, actually, that, and I'm not saying that they should then be like, come home and be like, oh, like, I'm just a helpless little person. But it's more the fact that, like, don't feel like you have to, relationships, like a relationship with your husband is so different to a relationship with your male colleague.
And again, that also speaks to that competitiveness in a relationship. That can also speak to a man wanting to compete with his woman or his wife or his partner. And it's not supposed to be a competition. You're supposed to be working together.
Can you have it all? I think it depends what your version of all is.
Like when I worked on a documentary documentary recently, and we were looking at maternal mortality in like non-white women, basically, because well, Black women and actually Asian women as well are a lot more likely to die during childbirth. So like even just like setting up and producing a scene like that for me just made me feel like if this is the most that I can like achieve in this industry, like compared to working on Bear Grylls, taking a few celebrities down to the embassy, you know, like, so when you say, can you have it all? I just think, well, I kind of feel like I do have it all.
What the problem is in our industry is it's ever changing. So it's like, you know, you can be at the top of your game, go off and have a baby, come back, and because everything is changed, you are no longer at the top of your game, and it's almost like you have to push restart and start again.
You can have it all, just not at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think there's something really to that. I think within your life, there's many chapters, many seasons, and there's times where you're like, right, I really want this, and you can have that, but then you might not have, you know, you might have the job, but not the relationship. And then there's been other times where you're in the best relationship, but work's not right, or, you know, family, or there's something. And I do think that you've got to look at it as the totality of time rather than just that one moment.
I'm just going to swoop in and be just outside.
1000%.
I want to marry John Boyega, so I might not have a choice. TV.
He's too young for me, but I will definitely fight you for him.
There's something about it that just feels slightly incestuous. Like,
there was a lot of people in my department that were married to each other, and I was like, how do y'all do this? Like, how do you do this?
I want someone that can teach me something different, something new. What do you do? Even if that is, okay, you're an accountant, you know, you might think it's boring, but actually, like Jess said earlier, I'm going to find something really interesting about it because you're inquisitive. We're inquisitive people, we're curious people, and that's why we're kind of in this industry. You know, we want to learn, we want to show people's stories. So for me, outside, I don't want you to come home, tell me about your production manager not giving you that DM. I don't want you to come home and tell me that your exec's not letting you step up, because listen, I've got all that on my plate. Don't bring me your plate. I want a different plate.
Just from my experiences, like if I'm talking about my past relationship, I can't talk for where he's had heads at now. It might have evolved since then, but I know certainly when I brought up topics of like say having to move across seas to like work in telly or work in the media industry, it was kind of like straight off the back, wow, if you do that, you might as well call this relationship quits. So it's kind of like you need to be with someone that understands the nature of our world. Like, you guys know, we can be in a week's contract, we can be in a 2 weeks contract. 1 minute we're working in the comfort of our own hometown, and next thing you know, we have to move ship and move cities, and all of us here have had to move several times in the name of our careers.
If you think about how much of that time that you were, those weeks you were away on shoot, or those long evenings you did that you missed your friend's birthday, you missed the gathering where you could have met someone or you could have got to know someone better. I definitely think that our career, and to be honest, careers in general, right, like can really affect your life if you don't have that balance.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to a certain point, like say you're a certain point in the career ladder, and you're in a certain percent of a tax bracket, you will only mix with certain people that are also in that tax bracket. So your chance of meeting people within your race or who you want might be very, very small and very slim, because you're going to places or you're talking to people, having meetings with people that, you know, on a particular level or in a particular tax bracket. You're not necessarily meeting the average Joe, you know, so it can play a part in, you know, where you're looking or what you're looking for.
Which is probably why so many people assume that I'm going to marry someone white. I don't know why.
Me too.
They literally, they always say to me, like, even black men, yeah, I can see you marrying someone white. Why? Like, why have you made that assumption?
As you get older, you find it more difficult to meet a man who's not as intimidated by who you are and what you have. And, you know, we're three strong women here, and we need a type of man who can handle that. You know, it's not And I think that's why, you know, you saw with Oprah and Stedman as well. You can sort of understand that dynamic. Her saying, no, I don't want to get married. I just need you to support me in who I am and what I do. And now they're together. And I think that is the balance for us, is make sure you find the right person.
One piece of advice I would give for career women wanting a relationship is don't force it and don't put pressure on yourself. I truly believe that when the time is right, things will happen. Don't let society rush you. Don't let friends rush you. Don't let people in the workplace rush you. Just go at your own pace.
I think we do need to remind ourselves that there are great men out there, and you can't then blame them for being a bit confused or not supporting you when you weren't honest with them about what you wanted. So if that was, you were going to put your career first, you tell them that, you know, you make it clear that actually I'm going to be with you, or I really like you, or let's make this work, but please just be aware that actually this is also very important to me. And the right guy will be fine with that. I'm sure, God, he has to be.
Think about the person that you're going to be with and think about what's important to you, because if that person isn't going to be your champion, if they're not going to be your support, can you do it without their support? Are you happy to do it? Is your, you know, your hopes and dreams, are you prepared to put them aside? Like I said, I'm single. I've had long-term relationships. I've been in great relationships. I've been in awful relationships. But the loneliest and the worst I've ever felt is being in the wrong relationship.
I used to be a very put up and shut up kind of person. And these things would just be burning me inside, you know. And I'm just silent. Yeah? No, not anymore. Okay? I don't like it. Stop doing it. Okay? I love the person who I am. And if someone's going to come, they're going to come and they're going to love me for me. Yeah, this is me. This is what I do. And it's a take it or leave it situation.
Time management, like make sure you're putting enough time and effort into your relationship, because you're never really, if you're a career woman, you're never going to have problems putting time into your work, because you're going to love your work. You're a career woman. That's what you do. You're going to want to deliver at work. You've got deadlines. You've got targets to meet. No one really sets that in relationships. You don't come home, you don't have like a whiteboard at home that has like targets for, you know, 2019.
The schedule.
Actually, someone like T probably does have that. Actually, she's on point. She's planned, scheduled. But I just believe that you need that kind of stuff in your relationship.
I think for where I'm at, I would say to any career woman who is single, don't despise that. I would say enjoy establishing your purpose before the person, and the right person will naturally fall in line with your purpose, if that makes any sense, but I hope it does. But yeah, don't worry about it. I think sometimes when you're so focused on your career, there is that pressure of, do I have enough time today? Should I be spending more time in that social aspect of finding the right guy? But I just think it's okay to enjoy this time of being career orientated, or however long that takes. Enjoy establishing your purpose. These are fun years, and you don't need to despise your singleness. So that's where I'm at the moment. So I would encourage anyone who's in the same position as me just to enjoy this season.